That's all of you, and it's an awesome thing. There is a quote that says, if you can receive it, you can believe it. And if you can believe it, it's yours. Which is the same as saying that your thought process is a byproduct of how far you can go. And once it is determined as it relates to how far you can go, you can summarize that and say, there's absolutely nothing that can stop you. There's absolutely nothing that can stop you. And it all starts with you determining that your attitude develops your altitude. So the question that I would have to ask you is, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And when you come to that conclusion as relates to how bad do you want a thing, you're also willing to make any sacrifices that there is to make in order to get it. So there's absolutely nothing that can stop you from getting to where you want to be. As I was preparing for this moment that you and I shared, I was given some thought to my high school and my college career. My high school career started off with me getting put out of school due to what I call unfair behavior, which was to nobody's fault but my own, which in return allowed my grandparents and my mother to say to me, you need to go get a job. And as I'm moving through that process to get a job, my grandfather also stopped me and said, you have 2 weeks to get a job. You have 2 weeks, and 2 weeks only, since you don't want to go to school. So as I enter into the work market, I do find a job, and I'm making about $3.55 an hour, which means that I had to work 40 hours to bring home $123. And those 40 hours was never guaranteed. 1 week I may work 40 hours, the next week I may work 20 hours. But whatever I put in, that's what I was going to get out of the setting that I was in. All of a sudden, as I'm moving through that process, a light came over top of me. And it was a shining bright light that said, there is more to you than what you see. Not only is there more to you than what you see, you deserve more. So as it relates to that light that came over me, my grandmother decided to take me back to the school that I got put out of. And I recall the principal saying unto me, why should I let you back in here? Why should I let you back in here? And I said unto him, because my education is important to me. There, in moving forward, he said, okay, I'm going to allow you back in here, but it's going to be on a trial basis, which means that if I so much as slipped on a banana peel, I was gone. All it took was a slip, and I'm gone, and that's it. In the process, of course, I'm happy that I'm back in school, I can pursue my goal of getting my education. I also discovered that if I went to school, not only Monday through Friday, but also on Saturday, and if I went to school during the summer, I could gain my high school diploma in 2 years versus 3 years, which in return will allow me to graduate from high school in the 11th grade rather than the 12th grade, and nobody in my family has ever done that. So it started with a light that said, I want more. You deserve more. And I committed to what it was I wanted for 2 straight years. 2 years I committed to that process. And there I gained my high school diploma. And I graduated in the 11th grade rather than the 12th grade. And you could imagine that I felt some kind of way about that. I felt that I could do just about anything that I put my mind and my heart to. And guess what? So can you. You can do anything that you put your mind and your heart to. You have to just decide that you want it. And how bad do you want it? Because if you want something bad enough, It's yours. And it starts with you believing that it's yours and confessing that it's yours. So I move through the process of gaining my high school diploma, and I moved into a community college, which was called CCB during the time. Now it's called BCCC. Some of you may know what that's all about, but that's what it's called now. So I enter into the community college, deciding to major in business administration with an inspired hope of launching my own company. So I'm sitting down in the lobby area of the school, and I'm looking through the college catalog, and I noticed that they have a non-degree course in real estate. And I became immediately interested in it. Quinn, you know how you can read something and it jump up off the page at you? Mm-hmm. It jumped up off the page at me, and I became immediately interested in what it was that this course had to offer me. So I go get the money, I pay for the course. So on one hand, I'm studying to get my degree. On the other hand, I'm studying to become licensed as a real estate agent. I go through the course, I complete the course. The only problem was, with completing the course in real estate, I had no coach, I had no guidance. So what I had was information doing absolutely nothing but sitting in my hand. Thereafter, that was over. I moved into wanting to know more about insurance, which is also something that I got out of the college catalog. I go through the process once again, getting the money, pay for the course. I get insurance certification, where I can sell homeowners insurance and auto insurance and life insurance and health insurance. And with that, I had no coach. I had no guidance. So I had information, but no inspiration with that. So in moving forward, being that I have all this around me now, I decided after 2 years that I was going to transfer to a 4-year university in Morgan State University. So I'm moving forward in that learning process. And my aunt decided to take me out to lunch to celebrate my victory in that moment, which my aunt had a lot of influence over me. And she said unto me, she said, Leroy, I'm proud of you, but you're going to need something more than book knowledge. You're going to need some experience in this. So I want you to go get a job, or to look for a job in the radio and TV industry. Because I also decided to change my major, as I said. So I'm looking in the Sunday Sun, which was a familiar newspaper, newspaper company here in Baltimore called the Sunday Sun. It would be delivered every Saturday. So me and my grandmother is sitting in the living room, and I'm reading this newspaper, and there a board operation position jumped up at me. And I went down to Radio 1, which was located downtown Baltimore on St. Paul Street. I went there, filled out the application. When I filled out the application, that same day, they called me in and scheduled me for an interview. I went to the interview was successful. I'm feeling once again that I can do anything that I put my mind to. It's all good. I'm feeling good about myself in that. Thereafter the interview, they called me and offered me a position. And I am really excited at that point. It's all good now. I can do this now. Remember, I can do anything that I put my mind to, and so can you. So in going forward, my first day on the job. So I'm surrounded by that which I study, and that's what I work. And it's all centered around what I desire, which is to host my own radio and talk show and to be on TV, talking about the news and all of that sort of thing. And so 2 weeks into the position, 2 weeks, the same gentleman who hired me said, Leroy, you're no longer needed here. 2 weeks. So you can imagine my excitement here, and it fell all the way down to the floor. And the only thing I could do was turn to the right and turn to the left to figure out what was going on, because I had no sense of what just took place. All I knew is that my energy, that positive energy that I had associated with my achievement, left the building. And so did I. And he looked at me and he said, I have to let you go because you have a ministry in you and you don't need to be here. The unfortunate thing about him saying that is I'm in age and I don't have a clue what you're talking about. But I also discovered through conversation with my mother that my grandparents were talking the exact same thing. The challenge was, with that was, nobody talked to me. So therefore, I didn't know what to do moving forward. All I had was what was in my hand, and that was nothing. And so, again, I'm looking for answers. So I decided to go over to my aunt's job because, like I said, she had a level of influence over me that was really second to none. She had a level of influence. And so I go over to her job, I'm disappointed. It's a summer day, I'm sweating, and I don't know which way to go, but I'm looking for an answer, and I'm searching. So I get over to my aunt's job, and she says to me, after I explained to her everything, she hugged me, she embraced me, and told me just go out there and try it again. So here I am, I'm alone thereafter that, because as long as I was with my aunt, it was good. But then at some point, I'm alone, and I got to face my own insecurities about what happened because I still don't understand what happened. But it happened. So the following semester, I go back to Morgan State University. And I decided that I was going to change my major back to business administration with an inspired hope of launching my own company. Shortly being removed from Morgan State University, I become the CEO and founder of a company called the Life Enhancement Consulting, which is a consulting company located here in Maryland that offers training in the areas of leadership and management techniques, sales, customer service, team building, and strategizing. And we teach emerging and seasoned entrepreneurs how to obtain business credit and funding for their business with the use of their EI number and their Social Security number. So I have a company. And then I also have a school, an online school called the Life Enhancement Coaching Institute. The Life Enhancement Coaching Institute is an online school that's offered to students from around the country and offers them an opportunity to become certified as a certified life coach, an executive leadership coach, a spiritual coach, relationship coach, and we have a public speaking training course right there within the school. That's online. Thereafter that, I also became the author of my first book, The Power of Business Credit and Funding, which is a book that gives information to emerging and seasoned entrepreneurs how to obtain business credit and funding for their business. So, as you can imagine, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Not too long thereafter the book was released, I'm in a meeting with some partners, and they said to me, Leroy, you have this radio voice. And of course, I kind of downplayed it as if it was always nothing, with no consideration that I had been down that road before. So when I got home, I'm sitting just relaxing, watching ESPN like most of us do. And that excitement of what was said came back to me. And I was able to pinpoint the fact that I had been down that road before. And that it was still some excitement in me that wanted to capture that particular goal. So I decided to call Radio 1, the same company that fired me. I decided to call them. And when I called them, what did they do? They invited me in to a meeting to discuss my interests. I conveyed my interest to them. And when I conveyed my interest to them, 2-3 weeks thereafter that, I had a scheduled radio and talk show called the Life Enhancement Radio and Talk Show. Thereafter, or I would say 2 or 3 weeks into the position, Morgan State University called me. And they said, we'd like for you to come and audition for a radio and talk show. I go and audition for the radio and talk show. Through conversation about what they expected and what I expected, they decided to go their own direction. I decided to go mine. Thereafter that, Another company called the iHeartMedia Group called me in Pennsylvania and wanted to do a profile of my company. I go there. What happens there? The same thing. They offered me an opportunity to have my own radio and talk show. The difference with that is they wanted me to move to Pennsylvania, and I wasn't willing to do that. If you look at the duration of the conversation that you and I shared thus far, the message that I want to convey to you is people, places, and things have a tendency of coming back around you 2 and 3 or 4 times. People, places, and things have a tendency of coming back around you. Because when I went back to Morgan, the final semester changed my major back to business administration, I wasn't even thinking about radio and TV. I wasn't even thinking about it. That came through somebody else who identified something in my voice that said, you would be ideal for that position. And I moved on it. I moved on it. And when I moved on it, it allowed me to see that, one, I could do and I could be whatever I wanted to be, just like you can. Just like you can. No difference in that. So there are 3 takeaways that I want you to gather from this moment that you and I share. 3. And the first one is, as a professional, the practice, as a professional, everything concerning you is a practice that leads to progress. Everything concerning you is a practice that leads to progress. Think of it as an athlete. An athlete must practice. And that practice leads to progress. And progress leads to mastery. It leads to mastery. Mastery, on the other hand, identifies you as a person who has value. So as an athlete, through practice that leads to progress, they have to pay you what you're worth. So an athlete does not exchange dollars for hours or hours for dollars. He or she gets paid for what they're worth. As a professional, you want to be in a place where you get paid for what you're worth. You want to be in a place where you get paid for what you're worth. The second takeaway, and I'm going to need your help with this. When I say never, I want everybody in the room to say ever. Never. 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 Allow a person, place, or thing to put a period behind your name. A comma? Yes. We can work for a comma. And you and I both know that a comma indicates a pause, right? And a pause is not going to do anything for you but allow you to rethink your position and position to reposition yourself towards the great. That's what a pause is designed to do. So now for those of you who have studied English writing, you know the difference between the period and the pause. You know that pause is just said to indicate that there's a stoppage somewhere along the way. So I can work through a pause, and so can you. And so can you. But a period, oh no. And you can best believe throughout your career as a professional, there are going to be some people, some places, and some things that come upon you that's going to be willing to try to tell you what you can't do. They're going to try to minimize your value. It is your job to say no. I can work for a pause, but I'm not in the business of allowing you to stop me from becoming all that I can be. So never, ever, ever, never allow a person, place, or thing to put a period behind your name. A comma, we can do business with a comma. Because what is that going to do? That's going to give us an opportunity to realign ourselves, to make adjustments where adjustments are needed. It's going to realign us to be able to do that. And when that is done, that settles it right there. That settles it. The third takeaway. The third takeaway. You are the J&D of your environment. J&D of your environment. I can see by some of the expressions on your face, you want to know what J&D means. Well, I'm glad you asked. J&D stands for just noticeable difference. Just noticeable difference. You are the just noticeable difference of your environment. I live in a house, you live in a house, and everything in my house is an expression of who I am. But I set the environment there. At my company, I set the environment there. Nobody else. Nobody can dictate how things are supposed to be when it's yours. So you are the just noticeable difference. And all of the people that you hang around with, your community, whether it's in your neighborhood, your church, you are the just noticeable difference. And you have to portray the image as though you are just that. Because nobody controls your setting, your environment, or your life but you. And for the record, and I want to be absolutely sure that you get this, for the record, quality decisions lead to permanent change. Quality decisions lead to permanent change, which makes it that you are the J&D of your own environment. Whether it's home, whether it's church, whether it's Coppin State University, or any other university that you plan to attend thereafter this season of learning is over for you. You are the J&D of your environment. Just noticeable difference. So someone said unto you, what makes you qualified for the job? It is the value that I bring to the table. And the value that I bring to the table just simply says, I have a yes about me. And I am to be treated as though I am a person of value with a yes, because I am not a problem. I have a daughter who works for Cheaper Price, which is an investment banker's firm. And she came to me, she said, Dad, I think I'm going to quit. She was about 21 at the time, much younger than she is now. She's about 26, 27 right now. And she said, I think I'm going to quit because they always asking me to do something extra. I said, oh, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to quit because they ask you to do something extra. No. I said, because as long as you have an answer, you got a job. The moment you don't have an answer, you won't have no job. Which means that you're going to be back home with me. Of course, I didn't say that part, but you. So, at the end of the day, you have to know your yes. And your yes says, I have value. It says that I have value. And you take your marching orders by understanding and embracing the fact that you are the J&D of your environment. You have to see yourself and know that you are the just noticeable difference in everything that's going on around you. And there may be some things that's going on around you in your environment that you don't like, but it ain't necessarily have to have anything to do with you. Because in growing up in East Baltimore, not too far from here, there were some things going on in my environment. They had absolutely nothing to do with me. And I know this to be so now because now I've lived beyond that now. I've lived beyond it. But the first determination I came to was that light when I was in high school that said, there is more to you than what you see. And I know I wanted more than $120. Because I wasn't going to be able to buy the car that I drive or live in a house that I living off of $120, and the $40 was not guaranteed. It wasn't guaranteed. So with it being not guaranteed, then I have to find another way. And I'm very thankful to my grandmother to this very day, because I never asked her to take me back to school. This was something that she did, took the initiative to, and got me put back in. And so I'm forever grateful to her for doing that, because she saw something in me that perhaps I did not see. So I'm standing on her arm and her leg right now as it relates to her getting me put back to school, because it allowed me to do something that everybody else not doing. And it started with that light that said, I want more. And I'm sure you want more as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here if you didn't want more. You have to want it. And you have to set yourself aside that you ought to just notice the difference in everything that you do. And I mean everything. From here to the moment you leave this building, you ought to just notice the difference. So if somebody asks you what your name is Victory. All right? Thank you very much.